Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat. Welcome to the Retreat Launch Masterclass. I'm super excited that you guys are all here. I have a lot of insights and wisdom to share with you guys. So I hope you're as excited as I am. Just let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me, if the connection's all good. And then I'm going to get right into it. All right, perfect. Thanks so much. All right, thanks for confirming that. Okay, so my name is Chris Soll. I am the co-founder of Retreat Launch. Before that, I am the co-founder of Mindspo Retreats, Mindspo, as well as a couple of apps that I've built. I have run 31 retreats in 3 different countries since 2018. I've been a nomad digital entrepreneur, whatever else, for about 12 years now. And I found that a lot of the knowledge that I picked up over the last 10 to 12 years, building courses and coaching and running programs and launches and everything else, has come in really handy in the retreats business. So that's why I made Retreat Launch, because I felt like there's a lot of stuff that I can pass on to fellow coaches, other people who want to help people, who want to host these amazing experiences. So I'm super excited to bring all of this together today and show you what I've come up with. So I'm going to start my presentation now. Let me just click here. There we go. I'm going to make my little photo a bit bigger in the bottom here. Where do I do that? Here we go. Boom. There I am. Okay. And I'm actually a meditation teacher. So usually I'm extremely calm. I was just at the beach and I did a meditation about an hour ago, but I realized that attention spans are short and time is precious. So I'm going to do my best to amp up my energy a little bit today just to really get through this. I've got about 140 slides in this presentation, so I'm going to need to do one like every minute in order to get through this in about 2 hours. So I'm probably not going to look at the chat until the end, just because when I've done this in the past, sometimes it can kind of throw me off. So if you have questions along the way, please just write them down, have a notepad, have a pen, have some water, be prepared to write some notes. If you have questions, just write them down for now. And then at the end, you can just drop them into the chat all at the same time when I let you know. That way I don't have to scroll all the way back through the chat and try to find different questions along the way. Okay, makes sense? All right, I am going to get right into this now. Now, to begin with, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of context as to what my story is, how I even ended up running retreats, what my background is, just so that you guys have a good frame and some context for everything that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. I'm going to do my best to keep this, to pump this. So this is the subtext for this webinar, okay? My 5 secrets to selling out. There's a lot more secrets than 5, but let's just say it's my 5 secrets to selling out life-changing retreats and earning multiple 6 figures per year while having 90% of the year free to do whatever you want. To me, that sounds like an absolute dream. It is the dream that I've now been living for a couple of years. So it's, yeah, I'm super excited to pass all of this on. Okay, so my story. Now, I was born in Australia. I was raised in Germany. All my life at school, I had terrible grades. I just did not fit in. I always had an A in art, so I knew that this entire school system wasn't really for me. I was a little bit of a black sheep. I was raised in Germany. I moved back to Australia at 13. I didn't know a single word of English. Thank God I got rid of that German accent in time. Now, when I finished school, I became a graphic designer. I studied graphic design for 3 years. I then went into the corporate design industry because that's where they told me that's how you'd make, you can either do the creative projects and make no money, or you can go and work for a big company and do really boring stuff and then you'll get paid well. So I took the second option. I think I spent about 6 or 7 years jumping between design agencies and like big corporate companies. My last job was 2010. I worked for the Department of Education here in Sydney, Australia. I started as a graphic designer. They promoted me to a project manager. I told them I'm not the guy for that because I'm not organized enough. But they put me in charge of this humongous project because they had an inflated budget. Suddenly I'm doing meetings, I'm, 3 times a week, and I've got timelines. There's nothing creative about this. This project was meant to take 3 months. It took 9 in the end. I lost 6 kilos in the last 3 months from stress. I would go to sleep at night, and in my dreams, I would immediately be back at work. So it was a really stressful time in my life. It basically broke me. I think I was 26 or 27 at the time. And when I finished that project, I basically just handed in my resignation straight away because I thought this is a one-way direction to depression for me. I wanted something that has meaning. I wanted something that can be fun. I want to enjoy the journey. You hear about what people say on their deathbeds, that they wish they'd allowed themselves to enjoy their life more. I knew this, so I wasn't going to spend more time in something that was absolutely unfulfilling. From there, I managed to just fight my way through. I just started hustling. I started messaging restaurants and nightclubs and DJs and whatever, and I became a freelance graphic designer. Within about a year, I realized, I just had this epiphany one day that I don't really need to be in Australia in order to do this work. So I ended up taking off overseas. Suddenly I was sitting in Mykonos in 2010, 2011. And I'm making $200-300 a day designing nightclub flyers for venues back in Australia. So a long time before the work from home culture kicked off, I was already overseas going wow, this is incredible that we can do this with technology. Now, when I moved back to Australia after my trip overseas, I met a girl, Rochelle. She's still my partner now after 12 years we've been together. We moved in pretty quickly because her home situation was not very good. And I was working from home. She was working from home. We spent all the time together. And I realized pretty quickly that she was carrying a lot of just stuff hidden behind a mask. She had really heavy bouts of depression, anxiety. At night she would fall asleep before me. She would just have night terrors. She'd have a panic attack once a week. Basically, every mental health condition you can almost imagine, she was carrying with her since her teenage years because of childhood trauma. I didn't know this at the time. When she finally told me that she'd gone through a lot of really heavy stuff as a child, this is 2010, 2011. Mental health was not a big topic yet that people were talking about. But I thought, you know what? Let's just see whether we can figure this out. And I knew that mental health was very important because I lost my father when I was 5 years old to suicide. So we went on a mission together. We spent 18 months trying everything that Dr. Google was telling us we should try to, resolve depression, etc. And, from pharmaceutical things to illegal things, legal things, everything. We just tried so many different things. Some of the stuff would work, but nothing would really last. And then in 2000, towards the end of 2011, after about 18 months of us trying things and her getting really, really bad towards the end, she was extremely suicidal, we found a meditation method that somebody recommended. A friend of mine said that soldiers who were going to Afghanistan were coming back with post-traumatic stress disorder, which we learned was what she was dealing with. And they were doing this meditation method that would literally pull them back from the brink of suicide. So we started practicing this meditation for 20 minutes in the morning. And within a matter of weeks, not months, but a few weeks, I would say about 90% of all of her symptoms disappeared. She'd start sleeping through the night. She would get stressful text messages and they would not affect her anywhere near as much. She's had 2 panic attacks in 10 years. She used to have 1 a week. So this was a humongous eye-opening experience that there are these modalities out there that can be so powerful. And I know some of you guys are coaches, so I'm sure a lot of you guys meditate, so you can resonate with this. So then 2016, after about 4 or 5 years, we decided to create an online meditation school, just so that we could teach this to people. So, I started learning online marketing. We made a video course. We started doing Facebook ads and all kinds of stuff. It was tricky, but we did start getting traction. not enough to really pay the bills, but like not enough to make some savings. We were just kind of living month by month, but we were starting to have a really solid impact on hundreds of people with this $80 meditation course that we had built. And then I think by 2018, we had ended up having about 1,000 or 2,000 people who had done our course. So one day we thought, hey, we're constantly sitting on the computer here. You know, we're never seeing people. Like, why don't we bring some people together and actually meditate in person? And so that's when we decided to create our first ever retreat. I had never been to a retreat. My partner, Rochelle, who you can see in the middle there in the blue shirt, she had never been to a retreat, but we thought, hey, you know, how is this any different to a bunch of people just getting together and having a holiday? So we built a sales page, and to be honest, looking back on what that sales page was, I've got it somewhere a little bit later in this presentation. I'm very surprised that it worked at all. But we had, I think, 23 spots that we could fill, and we ended up filling 13, which made us just break even. And this is Mykonos. This is a little bit before Mykonos became really, really cooked, as I'd like to say these days. But it was an amazing week. And by the end of the week, you know, we felt so full. And all the people who were there, that, like, some of them are still really good friends of ours now. One of the guys here in the bottom in the black shirt, Esteban, he's been to 4 of our retreats since. So everybody agreed by the end of the week that this was basically the best week of their life. And we pretty much agreed. So this was the amazing venue that we found in Paradise Beach. It's called Votsalaki. This was one of the photos up here that we used on the sales page of me and the skateboard and Rochelle. And then when we moved to Bali at the same time, so we came back from Mykonos to Bali, and we were like, hey, let's do this again, you know, like, let's come up with another idea. So the next one we did was a meditation and surfing retreat, which is the photo on the left. This was in Bingen down in Uluwatu, and it was boys and girls. I think we ended up having 14, 15 people for that one again. And then that was an amazing week. And then, because it was super easy, basically we just meditated and then everyone just had fun at the beach. So that one was super, super effortless. But once again, we had a lot more spots to sell than we actually managed to fill. Then one night, my partner had a big download from the universe. She was like, I need to create a self-love retreat that basically is a meditation retreat for the girl that she was when she was 23 before she learned meditation. And so we made a sales page. This was, and I'm going to explain why this is so pivotal. It had a transformation. It had a proper pain point. So we put together this retreat concept. We found an amazing venue out in Ubud. I think it was $12,000 for the week. It only had room for about 12 guests, but we've managed to fill it. We made a bit of profit, and by the end of the week, everyone was like, "Wow, this is incredible." Now, I knew at this time that this is something that we want to go all in on. Like, we want to scale this, because every time we've done 3 retreats now, and by the end of each time, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's just something really special, because it's unlike all the other work we've ever done. It doesn't feel like work, really. So I had this crazy idea of crowdfunding a retreat center and a mansion, basically, that we could make our own retreat center. So we ended up looking high and low. We actually started sending out emails to our database, telling them about this crazy idea. And people started buying into it. They were like, okay, yeah, fuck it. You know, we'll support you. We'll come. So we ended up putting up 4 dates for the next year. Started making some money, and then I found this abandoned mega mansion. It's a 6-bedroom place. We put 4 beds in some of the rooms. No one had ever lived in this house. It was empty for 3 years, so we had to renovate the whole place. It was an extremely stressful time, in all honesty, but we managed to put all of this together. And you can see here, it had this incredible living room. I really wanted a retreat center that was for people. That was for people who aren't, you know, into bamboo shacks and Ubud, like people who are actually, you know, more, you know, someone might live in New York or something and work in finance or whatever, but they still need to learn meditation, and they still should be able to come to a retreat. So that's how we manifested this incredible villa with this like penthouse looking living room. Actually, I'll show you a photo here. The next one, this was the house. This is us sitting at the top here. this was a serious chapter in our life. So I set up a retreat center. We set this one up. In the first year, in 2019, we ran 14 retreats there. This was our living room. This was our infinity pool, and it was quite a week, quite a week over and over. We decorated it. I got all this colored lighting that I could control from my phone, so that we could just create these incredible, vibrant spaces in there. And yeah, let me just say, it was one hell of a chapter. It taught us so much. Now then, we actually doubled down and we rented the place for 2 more years, with the lease starting in 2020, March of 2020. We put all of our savings. We had about $120,000 that we had made the year before in profit. And I rolled it all in for 2 more years of the rent. And then we all know what happens, right? So the world shut down. I had spent all of our money. And thankfully, all of the retreat guests who had pre-booked were just so kind that they were like, it's all good. We'll wait it out with you. You know, we gave some refunds. We kept the money that we had left to pay the staff that we had hired. We had like 10 Balinese staff who were suddenly out of everything unless we kept paying them. So we kind of chaperoned them through the next couple of years. And then we were sitting in this giant jungle fallout shelter outside of Canggu, Bali, and we had to switch gears back to, you know, online launches. And I built an app. But in this time, we spent a lot of time learning a lot of shit about online marketing. And we had some serious epiphanies that when we reopened, like, this is the stuff that I'm going to be teaching you guys in this presentation today. Like, it made such a gigantic difference. Now, in 2021, we actually had already had a retreat scheduled for 2020 in Mykonos, the next one. And we had to cancel that one. We had to move it. But then when 2021 rolled around, you know, everyone was been sitting at home for, God, a year and a bit now. And we just emailed everyone. We said, look, if we put on this retreat in Mykonos, you know, are you guys keen to come? And everyone was like, you know what, screw it. Let's do it. And it was the most amazing retreat because we made a rule at the beginning of the week. You can see the photo there when we did our opening speech, actually. And we just said, look, guys, let's just create a bubble and let's just forget about what's going on in the world. For this week, we're not going to talk about that topic. We're not going to consume news about it. We're just going to forget about it. And everybody did. Everybody stopped. It was like it was 2019 again, and it was a seriously incredible retreat. So then after that, obviously, we went back into, you know, the world's crazy again. And then in 2022, we actually had to let go of the retreat center because we just couldn't hold on to it. And we'd been living in it for so long. We were like living inside of our business that it just felt like we wanted more freedom again. So we let go. Same time, we manifested a retreat center right in Canggu, in the center of Canggu. It's actually a retreat center that I sketched inside of my notepad. I drew the exact schematic for my dream retreat center. And then an American guy named Barry, who's the same age as me, he actually built it during the pandemic. And so we were in there and I was looking around. And I was like, oh my God, the sunken seating area in the pool and the ice bath and everything else. And we asked him, like, hey, is it possible for us to rent this place? He was just finishing the building. And he said he agreed. So he was running his own retreats there. And we've now run, I think, 7 or 8 retreats there over the last 2 years. And it's been incredible. It's also has doubled the capacity of what our house had. So we only were able to host about 16 people. This place has 30-person capacity. And we no longer have to handle all the logistics like we did for those 2 years with our own center. So this has been incredible. And you can see some of the photos here. This is when we're doing our burn ceremony. We take everyone to a waterfall in Ubud. There's a giant yoga shala, and I always love using the colored lights, etc., to create an amazing vibe. Then in 2022, we also, in 2021, when we went to Mykonos for the retreat, we actually spent some time jumping around between a couple of other countries. And we ended up in Cyprus, in Famagusta in Cyprus. And I found this development with all these little mini villas right by some amazing water at the beach. And I inquired about it and the price worked. So we decided to rent I think it was 7 villas, one big villa and then 6 small villas around it. They also allowed me to secure the venue with a 10% deposit. And then we hosted our first ever retreat in Cyprus. We've done 3 of them now. This was the first one, 33 people. Actually, I think the first one was 38. The last one was 33. And it was amazing. You could see in the middle, this is a double-decker bus that we take to a catamaran that we were renting. So we run retreats in Cyprus now as well. We've got the next one coming up in May next year. Yeah, these are some more photos of it. So, you know, we made these giant circles. You can see these very modern, minimalist villas. It's really cool. What I love about retreats is you can, you know, it's like Lego. You can make it up however you wish. So in this case, we just created our own temporary neighborhood where we're all living next to each other in share houses by the beach. And it's incredible. So now that brings me to 2023. I think I got through this pretty good today, actually, in about 15 minutes. So that's wonderful. Let me know in the chat whether that all sounded good. Wow, I managed. Last time I think this took 30 minutes for me to get through, so I'm pretty proud that I managed to blitz through this. But this brings me up to 2023. This is where we are sitting here right now, and I want to just pass on as much as I can to you guys because this has been so successful for us, and it's only getting easier. And retreats are an incredible thing. They are life-changing. They are so much fun. They can give you as a coach some just incredible freedom and abundance. Great. I can see in the chat that everything's all good. All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. And so I'm just here now to pass this on. So my mission is I know that running a conscious business, a business where you actually want to help people, it can be fucking challenging at times, right? Like you have all this good intention but you want to do it right. You want to do it aligned, and it can be really challenging sometimes because, you know, you don't want to charge too much and you don't want to use, you know, slimy marketing tactics, etc. So like I've been through this, trying so many different avenues and knowing that you have something of value to offer the world, but it just being so difficult. And, you know, and then you see other people who have some business where it's just kind of like some crappy throwaway stuff and it's like blows up. You're like, okay, wonderful. Now, I also know how hard it is to live month by month. I've done that for the largest part of my life, especially when I went freelance, and I know the stress that comes with that. And I also know how life-changing retreats are. Like retreats are just the most incredible opportunity. So I just want to deputize and inspire as many people as possible. Like I want to see retreats happening all over the world every bloody week, you know, because by the end of the week, everyone's like, oh my God, I've got 10, 20 new friends. I've learned something. I'm relaxed. I'm recharged. And especially the way the world is going these days, you know, I'm an eternal optimist. I always think that the world is always getting better, but I can see that a lot of people are getting extremely stressed and cooked by, you know, what's going on out there. And retreats are just a wonderful antidote to bringing people back down to earth and you know, just healing people. So I personally believe that when good people make good money, they do good things with it. I know that it's an amplifier. Abundance is an amplifier of whatever it is you do. And so that's why I just want to pass this on and inspire as many of you as possible. And retreats, I found, are just the most incredible vehicle for all of that. To me, retreats are really the holy trifecta. You know, it's a rare situation because you have you have so much significance and meaning. It is such a valuable thing to do for people and for yourself, but it's also so enjoyable. Like you're actually hanging out with cool people, making friends and guiding people and having experiences, going on holidays to destinations, etc. Like what? You know, most people would do this kind of work for free if you gave them the opportunity. But then at the same time, it has generated the most abundance, financial abundance for myself out of everything I've ever tried. And I am a serial entrepreneur. I believe that, you know, consistency and persistence and experimentation are the ticket to success. So I am relentless. I've just tried one thing after another. And then when I hit this, I was like, oh, okay, wow, this is kind of special because it gave me my time back and it doesn't feel like work. And suddenly I have, you know, all these other pursuits that I can also pursue at the same time because, you know, because I don't have to grind it out every single day. Okay, so let's phase shift now, and I'm going to jump right in. I hope you guys have a notebook because I've got a lot of gold to drop here.